Niranjana. Welcome you all to the Academia Day of this year's Career and Leadership Aid program, already popular as CLAP 2022. As you all know, this flagship venture is an intensive virtual program proposed by the IEEE R10 Young Professional, which aims to help prepare students and graduate student members to achieve their future goals and consequently promote IEEE student to young professional membership transitions. In this arrangement, a range of activities has been designed to provide you all with a broad overview of global career opportunities. Yesterday, we have completed our day one of CLAP, which we named as the Industry Day. Hope you all found those sessions valuable to your life. Today, we are having our Academia Day, and we have gathered some extensively knowledgeable and experienced experts from academia as our esteemed panelists, coaches, and speakers. This announcement is for all our delegates. Stay tuned throughout today's program because today we are going to announce the winners of the CLAP Challenge. Gather your cluster members and stay tuned because maybe you will have another challenge today. Let's keep that a mystery for now. Without any further ado, let's get started with today's program. I would like to invite Mr. Mohammed Hussain, Lead Coordinator, SYP Transitions of IEEE R10 YP Committee and Steering Committee member of CLAP 2022 for the welcoming and opening address. We welcome you.
Hi, good evening to all of you. So since we are all in Region 10, it's safe to assume that I would say good evening to all of you. I hope you're all enjoying our session and our preparation of the sessions that we have prepared yesterday. It was quite, even myself as an organizer, I have really enjoyed yesterday's sessions. People coming from industry, some of them are actually, if you're an IEEE member, you might have been familiar with them, and some of them are not. We have benefited a lot, and we have brought a lot of them who are expert in the industry. And the idea was, for these, why did we separate these 2 days into one industry, one academy, is because once you graduate from your bachelor studies, most of people will either go into industry, then yesterday was much more relevant to them. Now, some of them might go into academy. Now, there are two types of academy when you go. Some of them might go into only like doing a master's or maybe doing a PhD, then they will proceed into industry. Some of them will probably continue in the academia. Okay, so there will be like, this is more into becoming a lecturer and so on. So yesterday we have more hearing from industry. We spoke about, preparing your own CV, interview, and branding for yourself, entrepreneurship, if you're interested in entrepreneurship. And of course, we brought industry experts to speak about what's relevant in the industry, what they are looking forward, and what's the future in the industry. And today we are very thrilled to have our distinguished speakers who will be speaking more towards the academic. So, and this is not only relevant if you're going into some academic career or even postgrad studies, even if you are assuming in your undergrad studies. For example, the next session we'll be speaking about effective research strategies. And this is quite important to all to gain the skills. So this is, and of course, we're having more speakers who will be joining in the panel discussion. And today is our last day, and we'll be later on happy to be joined by our NGA Vice President and also our Region 10 Director. And later on, announcement will be made regarding the winners. So in short, what I want to, in just another 2 minutes, I want to say that I hope you all are learning. This is one. And the reason we have put you in groups is for you to network. To me, as an IEEE member, I have been an IEEE member for 7 years. And the most thing that I truly appreciate about IEEE is the network. Of course, there are a lot of benefits, but to me, my top priority will always be the network. It's really quite outstanding. All these people that have, like if you look at the committee members, there are people that have never met, maybe one or two that I've met in person. Okay, the rest, they're all we met virtually. Sometimes we joined as participants, then we just connected. And throughout the years, then we are now working all together, and some of them are already actually kind of my best friends. So I hope you all appreciate this networking sessions, and the reasons we have put you into groups, work together, is for you to create your own network, not only with your groups, also outside your groups, with the committee members, with the speakers, whom will be sharing their contacts. Without further ado and delaying, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Thank our speakers, and I would like to announce the start of our today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed Hussein, for the opening address and for that great kickoff start for the club day 2. Knowing how to conduct deeper research effectively and effectively is a critical skill for everyone. Once you find a successful routine for information gathering, it will pay dividends time and again. But what are those strategies for effective research? Now we are going to find the answers. On our very first session on Academia Day is focused on creating a research strategy that will help you find academia studies and related scholarly information. Before we jump into the session, I want you to remind you that if you have any questions regarding this, you can raise your questions through the Slido links. The Slido link are there in the Zoom chat. Also, you can go through the WhatsApp chat for those. Our speakers are here to answer your questions. Our very first session on Academia Day of CLAP is about effective research strategies. To conduct the session, I would like to invite our esteemed speaker, Dr. Sambat Baski. Dr. Sambat Baski is currently with the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Rourkela in India. He served as Associate Editor of IEEE Assets and Expert Systems in the past. He presently serves as the Associate Editor of Innovations in the System and Software Engineering Springer, a NASA journal. I have no doubt that he's the best person to speak to you guys about the research strategies. So let us welcome Dr. Sambat to our virtual floor.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Alina. Thank you so much. I'm trying to share my slide. Please let me know whether it is visible to you or not. Yeah. Are my slides visible?
Yeah, your slides are good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. So my topic is on effective research strategies, and just one second. Yeah. And I'm thankful that IEEE CLAP gives the platform to discuss about this, because many times we do good research, but ultimately we do not know the strategies, and that is why our research outcomes go undervalued. And I am here to tell you about how to give best value to your research. And yeah, as you can see, the first thing that we have to understand about research is that research itself is an unguided way. You never know what you are going to discover or what you are going to find, but then you would have a target in your mind, and this research is a kind of journey where you are not very much bothered about what you will find. You are enjoying the journey. At the same time, when you are finding something, you are publishing or recording that particular finding so that you get the acknowledgement for that in future, and in future other people can benefit from what you have found. They do not lose their time reinventing the same thing. That is what the all story is. The whole story is about. And research is a journey from known to unknown. And so first step in research is to choose a proper research domain. And when I say that choosing a proper research domain, almost research can be done in any domain. Even the design of a pen or pencil, you can have some improvement there, and you can do a research on that. You can do a research on literally anything that you see. But the point is that whether it attracts you or not, because research is a very long process where you need to have your patience, you need to have your perseverance, and that is why it is very, very, very important that at the first step, the domain should attract you. You should be very much passionate about the domain. If not, you won't be able to carry out research for a long time. So this is the first and foremost point. If you are in your undergraduate level, or maybe in postgraduate level, you are deciding on your research domain where, you have a plan to do doctorate after that, and then maybe you want to have a long research career, or even if not so, if you want to plan for a research career for 2 or 3 years at least in the first step, it is very important. You should have a passionate feeling about your research domain. Second is that you have to know how wide is the social implication of the research domain that you are going to choose. It is very important because larger the beneficiaries, higher the impact of the research, it is a greater chance that what you do would benefit more people, and as well as you will have more recognition. So you have to see to 2 points. One is who are the beneficiaries, and second is what is the ecosystem of the related industries. Because what is the if you are going for research in some medical system, you have to see what is the total in size of the industry, whether it is 200 billion or 300 billion, what change a particular research can bring in, what are how old the initial research is in that particular area. All these things you have to look. Second thing that you have to understand when you are choosing a research domain is you have to validate the liveliness of the research domain. For example, though there can be research done in every domain, but if you are going to do a research on uh, developing a better quality steel, there might be hardly any chance, because people have invented steel long back, and then they have tested with several kind of combinations, and then there might not be a more chance. You have to see whether the research domain that you are choosing, that should have the liveliness. People should be other people should be doing research presently. There should be a good chance that you can contribute to the ongoing work. So for knowing this simple policy is that you have to Google it. You have to see whether there are recent news, recent uh, research publications are there on this particular domain. You can also talk to your peers who are already working in some research area, allied research fields, maybe not exactly what you are choosing, but you can talk to them. They can say whether the domain is live or not. And you can roughly come across some research documents, and you can read them. In this way, you can validate whether a particular domain is live or not. And the last point about choosing your research domain is whether a research area is underworked or overworked. Again, I would say doing research is fine in an underworked or overworked area. But it would be very difficult if you work in an underworked area, because your research is dependent on what prior results are there, what people have found. If there are very less works already done, it will be very difficult for you to get any prior information. It will be like starting from the scratch. It's good in one way that no one has done anything almost, and whatever you achieve, that will be recorded as an incremental development in that area. But the point is that you will have to struggle a lot for finding any base references uh, I mean uh, through which you will develop. Also, the same problem, almost similar kind of problem, is when an area is overworked and worked for a long time. The problem is that you may feel that you are going to contribute to the particular field, but then after you study a lot, you would see that the ideas that you come across might be published by someone else, might be recorded by someone else prior to you. So you have to be very cautious when you are working in an overworked area, because whatever you feel that you are thinking, that might have been thought by someone else, and you have to cross check multiple times to be very sure that what you are thinking is very novel and no one has thought about it, or uh, no one has done any experimentation of that kind. So underworked area and overworked area both are a little challenging. If you are finding an area that has a present value and which is just I mean, which is just on the verge of taking a fly, that kind of area would be easy enough for a particular person uh, for pursuing research if you see it from a career point of view. Of course, research shouldn't be seen from a career point of view, but this can be good enough for a student, master students or doctoral student, when they have a time bound uh, program in which they have to produce something. Second is, once you have decided your domain of study, you have to do a literature survey. You all know this word. A literature survey is nothing but going through multiple published works. And when you go through these multiple published works, you get an overall idea of the domain. When you are doing a literature survey, initially it will be an unguided search. You are going through multiple works, but you do not have anything in your on your mind to actually restrict yourself or targeting a subtopic within that domain. You are just looking at multiple works. You are just gaining knowledge about the overall particular domain. But then ultimately, when you keep on doing it, automatically in your mind you try to find some area which is very important, which seems very important to you, and you will feel that these areas can be a seed for your research in your future research. So it goes from an unguided search to a guided search, and this process is very much pretty automatically done by your mind. When you know a good amount of things about a particular domain, automatically your mind starts to find what are the points in this domain where you can work on. So this is automatically you go towards a guided search. Then you start reading documents about a particular area within a domain. You do not read any document in that domain. You start reading only a particular uh, area in that domain. And when you do that, you start taking notes. So very important is that when you are reading the documents, you have to keep track of what you are reading, because if you come across a very important reference, you never know whether it is important or not. In future you will know whether it is important or not. So whenever you are keeping track of keeping track of the whole process, whether you are which are the papers that you are going through, so in future if you find them important, you can trace back where you had read about the particular thing. If you do not keep a track what you had read, you will just feel that yes, I had read somewhere, but eventually all your efforts that you have put into to go through the important reference is lost. You have to redo that again. You might not find that document again. So it's very important. Ensure to have an very uh, very clean indexing system in your computer or in your notebook or in any way, to keep a documentation of which are the articles that you are reading, what are the important things in it. You have to keep a documentation, because often when you require them, it will be a reverse index, reverse pointing. So you should be able to find them at that time. And uh, if you have properly chosen a research topic and have clearly defined a research hypothesis, 50% of the success of your research is done. You already might be knowing or the very important thing is that in research, both the aspects are credited. First aspect is what we think is that to find answer of some problem. That is obviously credited in research. But what other thing is credited in research is that finding a problem itself. There are a lot of articles which you can find, not as popular as those which produce answers, but there are a lot of articles which points out problems. Those are equally important. So if you have found a problem, a research hypothesis, then 50% of your work is done. After literature survey, the next part is actually doing the research. And I have nothing to say here because every research is very different in its own way, and everyone is a master in their own domain. So you, after choosing a research topic, what you have to do, you have to construct an hypothesis and then selecting the methods, collecting data, analyzing data, and then interpreting the data and reaching to some conclusion. This is a generic flowchart. It would be different for everyone. For someone working in computers and someone working in electrical, someone working in metallurgical, for everyone, this particular structure will follow, but it would be very different for them. So it is your area. I have nothing to say with how you would do the research, but multiple people will stop here. After doing this research, people will feel that that's what I am supposed to do and that's what my job is. They will stop here. But the more important part comes here, that after doing the research, you have to document the research. There are two parts in documenting the research. First is the what part. Again, in what part, it is your core area in which you are doing the research and you know it best. But just one tip can be here, that once you are through a research, do not start writing an article or manuscript on it. First, make a PPT. This might help you. First, make a PPT, make changes in the PPT, make revisions in the PPT, discuss the PPT with your peers who are involved in the same research. That might actually evolve the PPT in such a good shape that writing the manuscript would be easier. And at the same time, when you are documenting your research, it should be very clear in your mind what you are going to write. Directly jumping into writing a manuscript would be very difficult, at least for the bachelor's and master students, and for some doctoral students also sometimes. So after, you are going to write the manuscript, you have decided to write the manuscript, you have to understand that these are two different domains. One is your research area and another is the skill of writing. We are not writers, we are simple researchers. We are not writers, but our job, a part of our job is to convey with our writing in a best way to the readers what we have done. And that is why we need writing skills, a technical writing skills, and that is a uh, very separate skill set. And for knowing that, you have to, learn gradually, and you can just search how to write scientific articles. You would get lot of documents on the internet. There you can just go through them. You can understand that it's a very different thing than apart from research. And for writing scientific documents, you ensure that you are using scientific tools. Like for writing the document, you are using LaTeX, not Microsoft Word. You are using tools like MATLAB Origin for generating your graphs. And when you are drawing anything, you are drawing in Inkscape or Geeks, so that the graphics is in vector. And when you zoom in, you can't see any distortion on that. And to ensure you have proper reference maintenance using Beep or Mendeley or EndNote. and you know about the anatomy of scientific articles. You know how a scientific article looks. Why I am telling these are very important. Why I am telling? Because if you do not use these tools, if you do not understand these reference management system or graphics softwares or documentation tool like latex, you can do a research, but your writing might not look professional. And after you write a document, you are going to put the document through a peer review process. And in the peer review process, it is very important that someone should be very well understanding what you have done. So there, both the things are contributing. One is the quality of your research, at the same time how well you present it. So please learn these tools. These might be very, very important. And after that, you go for disseminating your research in some journal. And for that, first you have to know the journals in your domain, that you will know in the course of literature survey. Obviously, you can also subscribe to the table of contents of the journals. And when you are placing your own document and you are willing to know in which journal it will suit best, you can take the help of online journal suggester or finders. All the leading publishers like IEEE, Elsevier, Springer give this kind of service. You have to paste your abstract title and keywords, and they will tell you which journals match it. But do not blindly rely on the output of this kind of softwares. At the same time, do not blindly fall for the parameters like whether it is a high impact journal or review speed. You have to see the journal in which you are submitting, whether the readership of the journal matches your article or your topic. And that is how your research will be read by multiple people and you will be a gainer in long run. Otherwise, even if your article is accepted, but there's no readership of your research in that particular journal, it is not of no use. And last step is where people usually don't go. Even if they publish an article, they think that their job is done. Last step is broadcasting your research. It is very important. You have to know your scientific peers who are doing research in the same area. You have to read their works. You have to tell them about your recently published works. You can write them email. You can, tag them in Facebook anyway. And in this way, through your work, you will have global network and recognition, and you will have prospect of future collaboration and discussing new ideas with them. So this is very important. People do not usually broadcast their research. They feel that it is a very aggressive way to tell about one's success, but it's not so. It's like telling what you have done in a humble way, and people would read about it. They may criticize, they may accept it, and then you get to know more about your research also if they criticize, and you get to know about others' research also. So some tips are there. First is, when you are writing your manuscript, your job is not to write the manuscript in the order it looks like. It is a little reverse. So that's how you can write a good manuscript. You first write the methodology and results, then the analysis, then the survey, and then the introduction part, conclusion part, followed by abstract, and finally the title. Okay. So many people write the manuscript in starting from the beginning to the end like it looks, but it is not supposed to be written in that way. It has to be written in this way. And you try it once or twice, you will see that it will, make a huge difference in your output. And when your paper is going through a peer review process, some people get very irritated with the reviewer comments. So don't be sad or irritated about the reviewer comments. Obviously, not all comments are good, not all comments are proper, because you know your work best, the reviewers don't. That is very true. But try to understand their viewpoint, try to incorporate if anything is possible, and that is how you can actually make your research better. And please do not hide anything in your answer to the reviewers that harms the acceptance of many manuscripts. As an editor, I have seen, if you cannot answer any comment of the reviewer, just mention that we have not done it. This is the reason we have not done it. That's it. Do not hide anything. And serve as a reviewer whenever you are invited. If you have time, if you can dedicate time, in this way you will get opportunity to read the works even before they are published, and at the same time it will be a benefit to the community, and you will get to know more people who are actually currently working in the particular domain. So last important tips is that, which is very, philosophical in case of research, is don't fool yourself. Because uh, if you convince yourself and fool yourself, the you will be the loser. Be the highest critic of your research before others get to see it. If you correct it, if there's any lacuna, if you correct your research at that time, it will be good for you. So uh, if you think that you are trying to hide something, some prospect of the research, that's not going to take you anywhere. And research is a very long journey and very enjoyable journey. If you are honest to yourself, it is a very enjoyable journey. If you can celebrate the process and try to restrain yourself a bit from celebrating the outcome, like I have published an article or I have published a patent. If you can restrain yourself from that and you can celebrate the process, research is a very enjoyable process. So finally I would tell
Doctor,
that
I
yeah,
think we are already past 5 minutes. If you could just, thank you.
really sorry. Yeah, just concluding in 1 minute. Yeah, so you can see the publication that everyone can see is that it is output of a conceptualization, experiment and analysis and documentation, all those things. So people will see the tip of the iceberg, but you have to go through the whole process. So be very genuine to it. So thank you. That's all from my side. If there is any question, you can write to me in the email IDs that are given here. And I'm little sorry for taking a little extra time. I thought that I'll conclude, but I couldn't. Really sorry. Yeah, and thank you for everyone for hearing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for that wonderful and informative session. Thank you so much, Dr. Samit Bakshi, for joining us today, dedicating your valuable time. I know that every participant here has found the session more valuable to their lives. Thank you once again, and we wish the very best for your future.
Thank you so much.
So let's move on to our next session. Our next session will be about the skills to pursue a career in academia. For the session, we have an esteemed speaker, and he is none other than Dr. Sasha Nikolic. Dr. Sasha has served as a chapter chair of the Education Society, general co-chair for IEEE TALE 2018, and held multiple positions for other IEEE conferences and events. He is currently past chair for the IEEE New South Wales section, secretary for the IEEE Australia Council, and has served on many IEEE committees. He is an associate editor for the Australian Journal of Engineering Education and European Journal of Engineering Education. So ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Sasha Nikolic onto our stage. Over to you, sir.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to present. It is my honor. So I'll be presenting to you about skills to pursue a career in academia. And to undertake this, I'm going to showcase the process that academics need to go through in their daily jobs. And I assume that this will provide you an insight as to whether you might be interested in transitioning from your studies and focusing on gaining a job in academia. And the process that I take is one from a Western university. So what I talk about might be slightly different from country to country. So just a little bit about myself. I had a very non-standard pathway into academia. I completed a telecommunications engineering degree, and then I went into industry for a while. And then I came back into the university as a laboratory manager. And while I was doing that, I conducted a PhD in engineering education, and then I became an academic. And I'm currently head of students for undergraduate engineering and looking after about 3,000 plus students. And since 2014, I've been very active with the IEEE. And as I discuss in my following slides, the IEEE plays a very important process in your career as an academic, but also if you don't follow an academic pathway. So if you're a student right now, the IEEE is something that should follow you in your lifelong journey. So the first thing that I write about is, why would you consider an academic pathway? And that is something that I would like you to think about very carefully as I talk. So there are multiple pathways available as an academic. The first is teaching only. The second is research only. And the third is standard academic, which does both teaching and research. Now, again, I need to highlight that this will be dependent on your university. And it'll differ from country to country. So if you're looking at teaching only, what you really need to do is understand the content of the subjects you teach. Now, sometimes this will be directly related to topics that you are well aware of or you're currently doing research in. Sometimes you'll be given subjects on content that you might not be very familiar with, and you'll need to quickly adapt to that. Again, it really depends on the university and the situation. Key to being an effective teacher is to understand and learn about learning pedagogy. And learning pedagogy is the way students learn. Research only is when you conduct research in a specialized area. This can be flexible, but many times if you're in a research only position, you have been targeted for a specific research project. And as Dr. Samit was talking about in the previous presentation, you really need to understand how to do research, and in particular, high impact research. And again, standard is a combination of all the points covering teaching and research only. So one thing that you need to realize if you want to become an academic is that at university, the goal is not to teach, but to facilitate learning. And a lot of academics in their early years can forget or not consider that difference. So how does an academic gain the skills to do successfully? And what does success look like? And that's what we're going to talk about now. To develop teaching skills, you need to be able to reflect. Now, most people come into academia with teaching skills based on their own experiences. So they thought about, what were the teachers doing to teach me, and how can I replicate that? What you also need to think about goes beyond that, and how would you support students brighter and weaker than you? You need to think about different students learn in different ways. How can you adapt your strategies? Now, the IEEE provides many resources to help academics, such as conferences and journals. the Teaching Excellence Hub, and IEEE Education Activities Board. And the more you engage with these different resources and societies, the more that you can develop professionally as an academic. Now, sometimes it can be difficult to get promotion in a teaching only position at universities. Again, this differs from country to country, university to university, but I can tell you in the Western world, the pathway for teaching only has been growing and becoming better over time. So if you're going to be looking at past reflection as an academic, you need to think about what you liked and what you disliked about the academics that taught you. If you think about what you liked, how can you implement those strategies into your teaching? If you think about what you disliked, how can you make sure you don't repeat that for the students you are teaching? You also need to think about what forms of teaching supported your learning the best. Did you like somebody lecturing to you all the time, or did you like tutorials that were active, or possibly workshops, seminars, or laboratories? How can you change the teaching style from others to make it better, to support your students? You also need to be prepared for student reflection. That is, are you prepared to receive evaluation data from students? Especially in the Western world, the growing need for institutions to collect data on how well you teach at the subject level or individually is constantly increasing. So you need to be able to accept that that's going to become a pretty standard practice. You also need to accept what students think about you. Sometimes it may be positive, sometimes it may be negative. Are you able to take the good and the bad feedback and use it to improve? Now, as an academic, if you want to improve, you simply shouldn't waste time reinventing the wheel. If you look at the comic illustration below, you know, they're so busy working that they don't want to take the time to quickly look at other options. And this is where the IEEE Education Society can help, as well as many other societies. There are lots of people who do engineering education research that show and highlight what are the best ways to teach in engineering or computer science education. And this is just a sample of some popular articles from the IEEE Transactions on Education. And you can see there's a wide variety of different articles that can support you in teaching. Don't simply, implement a process thinking it's brand new. Pretty much anything that you can think of has been done, and there's information to guide you. The IEEE Teaching Excellence Hub is a resource provided by recognized international experts. It provides real practical advice on how you can implement effective teaching strategies in the classroom. As an example, I have one that I wrote for the Hub, and it provides a framework on how you can create very successful laboratory classes. Success. What does it look like? How do you know you've been a good teacher? Well, the key thing that you might look at is, are student results high? Now, they might be high, but you might need to think about, well, is your assessments too easy, or are the students cheating too much? So high results could be an indicator, but not necessarily. Another indicator is student feedback. You know you're doing a good job if students are voluntarily telling you that you're doing a good job or they've learned. It's best when the student comes up to you and says, "Thank you, that was such a great experience." Another thing is student evaluation data is positive. If you can see that you're getting great results, better than colleagues, then that is something that makes you feel really good as a teaching academic. But the best indicator of being a good teacher is if students keep in touch with you after they graduate. And that is what I really love as an academic, when you've touched the student so well in their education that they constantly come back and want to talk to you and engage and contribute in your teaching. And that allows for industry integration. Externally, as an academic, you can receive teaching awards from your institution. You win awards from your country or some other engineering or computer science organization. But most importantly, success is if you're able to contribute to the community. Are you able to use your teaching and research it to provide insights for others to copy your style? So I've covered what an academic teacher looks like. Now we need to think about, what does a good academic researcher look like? So what you need is quality. And quality really comes down to your research methodology. And your research methodology really provides the pathway as to where your research can be accepted for publishing. Now, accepted for publishing leads to high quality conferences and journals. And what you need to be well aware of is impact factor and site score. Now, different countries and different universities have different rules, but in the Western world, having your research published often and widely is extremely important. Now, Dr. in the previous presentation talked about this slightly, and it also talked about the importance of linking your research to the right journal, and that is extremely important as well. But while linking to the right topic, you also need to pick the right journal within that topic area. You also need to understand the quality of your work so that you do not waste time submitting work that expects a higher quality research methodology than what you have applied. If you go beyond your area of research, what you do is you spend too much time having paper in the review process when it's going to be rejected. You don't waste time like that, because you want your work to be published. When it is published, there's more time for people to read it and to cite your work. When undertaking research, you need to think about, what is the hot area of research? What are other people focused on? If you can mold your work to a hot research topic, you're more likely to get more cites. But that shouldn't be a key decision, but it's something that you need to be thinking about when you're choosing your research topic. The other impact is, who benefits from your work? Is it academics? Is it industry? Or is it both? And that can have a huge impact on your success, depending on which path you want to follow. From this leads to, can you attract funding? Major Western universities have funding as a huge requirement in terms of promotion. How much money can you bring into the university? So if you follow an academic pathway, research, collaboration, attracting funding is all important. To be a successful researcher, you need collaboration skills. Think about, what are the strengths of your supervisors? Do they have good networks? Can you build networks? You will need to supervise students. Do you have the ability to supervise students? Who else can you work with? How can the IEEE help you achieve this. The IEEE can help you achieve this by creating the networking environments. You will get to learn and meet people from all across the world. Meeting people is one thing, but having the ability to start a conversation and sparking interest of your research work and your contribution is a very cool asset to have. What does a promotion pathway look like? We have impact. How much funding have you attracted? This comes from grants. You have to have a large citation count. Here in the two graphics, I show the difference between somebody that might be a junior academic to someone who would be a professor. The number of citations, the H index, the I-10 index. If you don't know what they mean, it's something that you need to investigate. If you want to become a professor, you need to make sure that you're known nationally and internationally. And again, the IEEE can help you with those skills by helping you develop the networking skills, providing you the opportunity to speak about your research to other networks. Governance is another form of work that academics build upon. And it's about your responsibility to lead. At the university level, you need to be prepared to provide advice to students about their subjects, about what they're learning, and their pathways. You need to be able to coordinate subjects. And that also means working and supervising other academics or teaching assistants to help develop and deliver subjects. If you get promoted, you might start to design subjects and programs for others, or to put together subjects to form a program. Further on, you might support a degree program or an entire faculty in advancing teaching or research. This requires a great magnitude of negotiation and leadership skills, the ability to communicate, the ability to think about all the different interconnections of the degree or research at different levels. External to the university, it's about advancing knowledge in the field through different leadership roles. How can you lead a community in your research area to work together to advance that knowledge? And again, the IEEE provides pathways to do this. The IEEE has many different societies based on different areas of knowledge research, and it provides an opportunity for you to get involved and contribute to that conversation. And you can slowly move up the chain, different positions. You will develop your network, and you will have opportunities to grow your leadership skills. So finally, we've talked a lot about what an academic does. So how does this translate to the skills you need to become a successful academic? What I have here are skills required for general employment. It has been developed by the World Economic Forum, and there's two versions, one in 2015 and one in 2020. And what you will see is that there have been some changes. So for example, creativity in the last 5 years has been seen as more important. Negotiation, less important. And there's been new areas such as emotional intelligence and cognitive flexibility. So you need to be aware of the skills, one, because these are the skills that you will not need as an academic, but also because you will need to be able to teach these skills or facilitate the learning of these skills to the students that you are working with. I would like to really highlight the impact of number 6, which is new, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is about understanding your own personality and the personality of others. As you can see, through research, through teaching, you are supervising, you are facilitating, you are networking, you are leading. And all those interactions involved understanding how you engage with others and how others engage with you. And if you can understand emotional intelligence, that is a key skill to take you to a leadership role in whatever career you choose, academic or other. All the other skills, such as problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, and so forth, they are extremely important. And you should be developing those skills during your undergraduate or postgraduate studies. If you're not, then think about what you can do differently to develop those further. That leads us to 10:40, which is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sasha, for that wonderful and informative session. And thank you so much once again for joining us today, dedicating your valuable time to be here. I know that every participant here has found the session more valuable to their lives. Thank you once again, and we wish the very best for your future.
Thank you.
Today is the second and last day of CLAP 2022. Let's give a big virtual round of applause to all our energized, enthusiastic delegates who were engaged to complete our CLAP challenges with full of enthusiasm in the past few days. It was a pleasure to see you all engaging with each other from different sections from all over Asia Pacific region. Hope you will keep your friendships you have made for lifelong. So today, we are going to announce the winners of the CLAP Challenge 2022, but not now. Stay tuned, we'll announce our winners at the end of today's program. As Alina mentioned at the beginning, we are having another challenge for our enthusiastic delegates, and it was a mystery. So now I invite Mr. Timothy Pereira, the program team lead of CLAP 22, and his team to reveal the mystery. Over to you, Timothy.
Hi, Niranjana. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I warmly welcome you all to the the second day of CLAP again. So, of course, as Niranjana mentioned, you all have been very energetic in participating to all the activities of CLAP Challenge this year. So. There were 3 activities. One was the cluster capture, and the second one was the cluster video that you had to submit. And of course, you competed with all the clusters yesterday with a puzzle. So I hope you, of course, we saw that you all had faced it very nicely. So that was really fun to watch, and also that was really great. And we are very much inspired by you. So today. Before the break, you guys have 20 minutes for this activity. So it's a little bit of a fun activity, and to create a memory with all of you, we decided to let you guys interact once more. So I think you can drop the message in your cluster groups to if there are members who did not come to today's session, just let them invite them to come to the session again, and let's create a nice memory for all of us to look back after 1 year, maybe. Yeah. So this is what we have to do. So I think you can drop the link in the groups as well as in the, yeah. So Ain has dropped here a link to a Google Drive. So let me share. So here there are 20 Google Jamboards. So if you are not familiar with Jamboards, just log into it, just enter it. So this is somewhat like a whiteboard. So feel free to do anything here. So you can like there are so many options. There's a pen tool. You can draw anything, and you can draw a picture. So this is a cluster activity. So choose your cluster breakout, your cluster Jamboard. Just enter into it, and draw anything. You can like first of all mention your cluster. Just you can select a background from here. Just select anything. You can maybe upload photos and the things that you used to communicate with and the memories that you had. So and also there are options like sticky notes. Just type anything here like this. So then you can resize it. You can put feedbacks like this. Just resize it. So it's up to you and your cluster members to create a nice memory. Just use one slide so that we can collect it. We'll make an autograph like maybe an album with this. So guys, let's get this take this opportunity and like create a good memory with all of us. So of course we can upload picters to this and use all the tools, get familiarized with it. So you have 20 minutes to get into the breakout rooms. I hope our OC members are ready to open the breakout rooms. Yep. So the breakout rooms are currently open, so you can join them if you want, or maybe you can stay in the room if there are none. So it's up to you. You have the freedom to create such nine things. And remember, if we see many potential and nice autographs, it may affect your club challenge marks as well. So remember, you have 50 points to get as bonus points. So it's up to you. You can do anything here. I'll just go through one. I hope that people have logged into the cluster cluster Jamboards already. So if you do not have any access or permissions, just let me know. We will be in the session. So use anything. You can use the text box and you can use anything. You can draw anything here. So it's up to you. So you can join the breakout rooms now. The breakout rooms are open. Create something nice. Create a memory for all of us to share and look back. Mention your team members who helped you and how you got to know many members and how you got to know people from many countries and how you engaged with them and what are the memories you created from clap and how was clap. You can mention anything. It's up to you. So create a nice poster like slide. Create it creatively. Use your creative talents. So go for it. You can join the breakout rooms now. If I see someone raising hand, right? No, yeah. So you can join the breakout rooms now. Join there and build something, create something nice for all of us to share. Yeah, I think there's a problem with the link. I think there's a problem with the link. Yeah, there's a problem with the link.
Let me reshare. Let's
Yeah,
see.
sure. Yeah, I'll drop the link once again. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Yeah, check the link again. I think you could find the Google folder there. Yep, it's working. Yeah, I will be sharing all the links via the WhatsApp groups. So let's go with it. So we'll meet in here for in about 20 minutes or maybe 10 minutes. We'll close the breakout room in like, yeah, I think we can wait for like about 10 minutes, and we'll join back again. So you are free to join the breakout rooms and do anything for that 10 minutes. Okay, Mitwaja, over to you. Professor Rangikar.
Hi.
Hi, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Can you join the breakout room? Please.
I thought I'm already there now.
No.
Can you move me there?
I
I
think
don't know
you.
which.
Yes, sir. The thing is, we have already given you course permission, so you have to move to the breakout room on your own. It's like the last breakout room.
There are a lot. That's why.
Yeah, it's the backstage. Yeah, it's the
backstage one, right?
Sir, yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'll join there.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And welcome, Deepak, sir.
Thank you very much.
Deepak, sir, thank you for joining with us, and we also like to invite you to join the backstage as well, sir. The breakout rooms are there.
So how to go to the backstage?
So there is in the bottom bar in the go to the more option where you can see three triple dots there. So go to the breakout rooms option. In there, in the down, you can see there's the Club 22 backstage where Dr. Savitya and Hussein and everyone is there.
Where I have come out to the breakout room, cluster 2, cluster 1.
And in the down, sir, there's the last one, sir. Club 2022 backstage.
Backstage, okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I think the breakout room was automatically ended.
Exactly.
Yeah, the time was ended.
Let us create a backstage again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we supposed to go there again?
Yes, we are creating a breakout room again for the backstage, and we'll let you know.
So we are supposed to go there again, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. No, it's
to the backstage.
available. Yeah, it's available again, so please join.
Yeah, it's available. Yeah.
Sorry for the inconvenience. And to all the delegates, of course, you can join the breakout rooms and have a short break. We'll be starting soon. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. Yeah, I hope so. You can work on all the Jamboards for now. So we will join you as soon as possible. So yeah. Yeah, we will be starting the panel discussion soon. So give us a few minutes. We'll be starting the panel discussion soon. Yes, so you can take a little break or maybe work on your Jamboards for now. So we'll start the session as soon as possible. Yeah, the breakout rooms are not available. So give us a little time. We'll start the session soon.
Thank you so much, Timothy and the team. So I think that challenge was so much interesting and helped us refresh our minds of the participants. Thank you everyone for joining us with so much enthusiasm. Now we have a panel discussion on opportunities in academia with the panelists, including 3 esteemed and professional speakers. And also we have an industry expert moderator as well. Let me introduce you to them. Today we have Professor Vincent Lee as our first panelist. Professor Vincent Lee is the Deputy Pro-Vice Chancellor of Curtin University, Malaysia, and commenced his role in July 2021. Before this, he was the Acting Dean for Faculty of Engineering in 2019 and Deputy Dean from 2017 to 2018 at Curtin University, Malaysia. He's an active researcher, and his research interests lie in the use of numerical and experimental methods of nonlinear dynamics to solve engineering problems. He started this research work in 2013 and thus far has worked on 8 projects. We welcome you to this session.
Next, we have Professor Rangika Halvadra as our next panelist. Professor Rangika is the editor for Insight currently. He is also a review for many well-known publications. In 2005, he was an associated member of the Society of Structural Engineers Sri Lanka. 4 years later, in 2009, he became a member of the Sri Lanka Association for Advancement of Science. In 2014, he attained the title of Green Associate Professional and became a member of the Society of Consulting Engineers. We welcome you to this session, sir. Finally, let me introduce our moderator for this valuable event. Today, we have Dr. Aishwarya Bangla as our moderator of this valuable discussion.
Dr. Aishwarya Bandla is an IEEE senior member, serves as the Professional Activities Chair, IEEE Singapore Section, and the Chairperson of IEEE Engineering in Medicine and Biology Society, Singapore Chapter. She holds a PhD in Biomedical Engineering from the National University of Singapore. She is currently appointed as the Regional R&D Manager at Paxman Coolers Limited, where she carries her research, development, and translation efforts towards a wearable limb cryocompression device for preventing chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy. Let us welcome you all, Dr. Aishwarya Bandla, the moderator of today's panel discussion. Over to you, madam, to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Niranjana and Alina, for that excellent introduction. And huge congratulations to the CLAP team for putting up this wonderful event as last year. And it's a privilege to moderate this session with our esteemed panelists. So I've been an academic for about a decade. And from my experience, I can confidently say that an academic's experience in life doesn't stop with the university, but it's more of multifaceted experience. I would compare it to an entrepreneur, an industry professional, and more. I am really excited to be chatting with our panelists today, Prof. Vincent Lee and Prof. Rangika, on their experiences and what they can their advice to aspiring young graduates, all of you gathered here. And I'm sure each of you is going to take away excellent points for whatever career path you may choose going forward. So maybe let's start with Prof. Vincent, who's the Deputy Pro-Vice Chancellor at Curtin University, Malaysia. Prof. Vincent, can you tell us about your journey so far? What made you stay in the path of academia, and maybe share some snippets of what you may consider a memorable experience from your many years in academia so far?
All right. Thank you very much, Aishwarya, and I hope that everyone are able to hear me well and able to see me, right, although virtually. And of course, before I start, I would like to congratulate the organizing team for organizing such a session. I believe Region 10 consists quite a number of sections across Southeast Asia and South Asia, although I believe there are much more coverage across the area. I wouldn't say that I'll be providing some advice, but I think what I do is I'll share some of the things that I do for the past about 10 years, since 2013. So I completed my PhD in 2012. So after that, I joined a short session with a short time, about a year with the industry. So from the industry, there you can say that there is some form of a calling, seems like I'm not that suitable working in industry for some reason, right? And I moved back to academia, and ever since then, I've been working in that sector since 2013. So I think I started off as what most PhD graduate will always do, a person that is very focusing on teaching as well as research, because I think that's all the training that has been given by my supervisor. If you want to excel in your academic career, you do excellent teaching and you do extremely excellent research. I think that's all the advice that all PhD supervisor gave. So Curtin University, as it is an Australian university, so I think the ideology is slightly different from the Asian context, which currently Curtin Malaysia is sitting in Southeast Asia, Malaysia. So it seems that the ideology is slightly different. So in the early career stage, that means from lecturer to senior lecturer, you will need to start building your foundation. And the way to build your foundation is you have really good research. So I think the traditional route, you have supervising postgraduate students, have some publications, right? Decent publications, yeah, and have some research grants. I think that's how you build your foundation strong. And as you continue on building that foundation, you move into a higher academic role, such as associate professor and professor. The role slightly changes. You still work into publication because that is what fundamental scientific research is about, but it's more towards translation into commercialization or something that is benefiting the community. So there is this big shift there between senior lecturer to associate professor and above, which your research outcomes is not benefiting just the scientific community, but actually benefiting the general community in between. So how I did that is that there is once upon a time, I think in 2015 or 16, so I made this crossroad between at that time I should be a senior lecturer already. So either going towards contributing to community, either through two routes, which I will elaborate more later on, either to scientific discovery and translation into community benefits, or through administrative route that facilitate in terms of all this community engagement. The bottom line is community engagement is always the core. What as an academic in university, you must always remember your core responsibility to the community. Other than creating knowledge is to bring benefits and to bring improvement to the community. So there are two routes. Either I be the technical route or I'll be the facilitating route or the administrative route in more general term. So I did some reflection on myself. I think that is one of the decision time back then. Would I be more suitable as a technical researcher, or I'll be more suitable in the facilitating role, including lobbying with funders to get funding, because without funding, research would be quite difficult to go to the extent that you want. So I see my strength on the other side. So I move into administrative route, and hence all the career after 2017 onwards is all with academic administration or academic leadership rather than technicality. But having said that, you must still have your technical research with you. As an academic, if you stop doing research, I think the meaning of becoming an academic becomes hollow in certain areas. So along the way, are there a lot of challenges? Yes, definitely a lot of challenges. Getting funding is not as easy as 1, 2, 3. You need to know what to do, what to get from funders. Every funders have their own, I would say, agenda or their own objective. And as an academic, being an early career researcher before, I would say I work in a very silo kind of research. I do what I feel I want to do. But as time grows and I become much more mature in terms of age, I feel that if you want to get money from a partner to actually fund the research, you need to address what they really want and not what I myself as researcher want. So that was somewhat of a revelation that I found out. And through that, it appears that it's quite fun. I mean, working with industry, getting all these fundings. I mean, scientific research is still a part of interest to me, but getting to work in partnership with industry, solving some problems and benefiting the community, it finds much more accomplishment in there. Okay, so I think I'll be sharing up until here and I'll continue on as the session goes. Thank you.
Thanks, Prof. Vincent. Loved how you covered the whole spectrum, and it's a nice segue for the rest of our discussion. And I liked how you touched upon the central agenda of Community Engagement Society, which also aligns with IEEE's mission of advancing technology for humanity. So let's hear from Prof. Rangika. You have a very interesting profile, and up until your professorship at the University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka, do you see your journey similar? What would you like to share with us? Some snippets from your journey so far.
Sure, thank you very much. And once again, I mean, I should congratulate the entire the organizing committee. That was a fantastic program and fantastic organizing the event, because I mean, every day I get a reminder and I always get the updates from the day you made the request to join in this panel discussion. So it's amazing. So being as young leaders, I think you have done your job to the level best. Well, I mean, as Aishwarya stated, I think Vincent has basically not kept much room for me to talk about myself. Well, I also graduated. I mean, I graduated in 2004, and then I finished my PhD in 2008. So from the day I graduated, I think, as Vincent stated, I was very closely working with the industry. So that was a very big plus point for me to start my career at the early stage. So soon I finished my PhD, then I joined as a university academic, and I mean, that was the day I started my research as well. So I started my PhD, so I kept that particular PhD area with my supervisor. So I was looking for new ideas. So to get the new ideas, as Vincent clearly stated, we need to work with the industry. At the same time, I think I'm more into invention and innovation. I mean, about all these IEEE chaps, I think I'm the only non-IEEE member within this particular audience. So, but still, I was very closely working with all the professional, I mean, all the disciplines. So being in the industry definitely gave the tips for me to do research. At the same time, I was very closely working with the community. So I really love to be with the people, getting the ideas, getting the issues. So it's not like, I mean, I told you I'm more into inventions than research, doing publications. So I do publications, as Vincent stated. I mean, we look for the H index, we look for our indexing, and that's the only way we can get especially the international funding. If you are to get the international funding and the industry sponsoring, we need to go where we need to build our research career. At the same time, I mean, while I was doing publications and doing conferences and all this stuff, I was more into invention and innovation. So it's not like dreaming in the night. I mean, we can't do inventions by getting ideas in a dream, and next day you build the invention and you'll not be able to market it. You will not be able to take that to the communities. So if you are to come up with a practical invention, and if you are to market that to the community, or rather convert that invention to the innovation level, I think the best is to be with the community, because they are the people who really knows their priorities, and the industry. So if you can get the problem from the industry and the society, we have a ready-made set of customers to accept our invention, accept our findings. So that's how I work with. In addition, I was so I mean, I could say I was a very sort of a blessed person, I could say, because I have a good team working with me. So I always try to get the correct people. I have even now I think I have more than 30 postgraduate or the research students working under me. It's a big team, and there's no leaders. So even though I'm leading, there's no administrator in that particular team. There's no managers in that particular team. So I may be leading, but we are working as a team. So always they are correcting me. I'm correcting them, and they are not really civil engineers. They are not really engineers all the time. I'm getting people from all the disciplines. Maybe sometimes designers, maybe sometimes agriculture's the experts, maybe the biology people, maybe the zoology people. So my research team is very diverse. So that is the biggest the asset I have, I could say. So with that, we were working very closely, and it's like a small family. So we managed to build our own laboratory facility with the help of the industry once again, and with our own self-funding. And being in the academia, being in the field is really challenging. But as an academic, I always believe this particular challenge has to be there for you to build up. More the challenge, you will be developing more. I mean, if you don't have challenges, I think you will stagnate there, and there will not be any further development. Myself, that is the other asset I got. There were a lot of challenges among the other peers, or maybe sometimes outside the peers, even within our own family. So more the challenges, more the people come and challenge me personally. I think that managed to put me at the next level. So that may be my success story. There are a lot of other factors. One is working with industry, having a good research team, getting the correct tips for me to do research, and more than all, I was always challenged by the people. So finally, that put me here. I mean, who am I today?
That's lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that journey so beautifully. And for everybody who's listening, if you had picked up subtle points from both their experiences, Prof. Rangika recently shared about his how he has developed his team, and we heard from Prof. Vincent about how it's important to get funding and focus on the agenda of the funders, and also balance between what you want to do. Prof. Rangika again spoke about people management, and we heard from both of them about collaboration, translation, and community engagement. Isn't this what we see in an entrepreneur's life? Both of them are pretty much building a company, seeking funding, addressing what the funders and the investors want, and translating their product and innovation onto the society. So there are so many different career and leadership tips and skill sets which you can draw parallels from the academic world onto any other career which we may want to opt for. And it's almost like there is a new breed of academics I can see developing in the past few years to a decade. Earlier on, when I started off with my PhD, the focus was solely on publications and being a very university-centric academic. But now, with what you both talk about, there is an aspect of leadership into management, university administration. There is an aspect of translation with an opportunity to spin off several, not only one startup, but several startups from your different innovations. However, like Prof. Rangika brought up, the H index and I-10 are numbers which scare academics. So what are your thoughts about such paradigms which still exist in academia? We all hear about publish or perish. So this is probably something which is going to stay, or do you think this is getting, this is evolving into a different sort of approach? And how can young academics prepare themselves for these challenges and sort of practices to move forward and thrive in their academic life?
Aisha, is that for me?
Yeah, please go for it.
Well, thanks. Well, I'll put it in a different way. I think whoever, I mean, whether you are academia or whatever the discipline you are working, I think you should define your own satisfaction level. You need to read yourself, right? You need to read yourself. You have to understand your qualities. You have to understand your values. Then only you can decide I mean, which way you are going to build up your brand. Branding is very much important. Whether you are academia or whatever the discipline you work, you need to brand yourself. It is not to be a TV star. I mean, I'm not really talking about being a TV star, but still, you need to brand yourself. For you to brand yourself, you need to understand your qualities. I really, I mean, if you want to be an academy, I personally believe the first priority should not be the salary, right? I mean, the academics, they differ from the school teacher with only one aspect. The two school teachers, I'm sorry to bring that particular the example. The teachers, they will always deliver, right? They get the content and they deliver. But the university academics, they are not really the people who, I mean, like the people who are in the schools. They're more than they deliver. I mean, that is dissemination component. But more than they disseminate, they should create the new knowledge. But as you clearly stated, many of our, I mean, even our teachers, they believed, okay, yeah, you need to create the knowledge. And even at engineering faculties, I mean, we create knowledge which are going with the fundamental the science or the basic sciences, but we rarely go into the applied sciences, even being in engineering faculty. So in applied science, the research or applied findings, applying findings only, you will come up with invention and innovation and the commercializing and also the entrepreneurship. So that comes with the applied sciences. But many of us, even my own colleagues, I mean, they are with the basic sciences. I mean, it's very important. I'm not going to say the basic sciences or the basic research are not really important. That has to be there. But at the same time, especially the engineering faculties, I think their duty is to go into the applied sciences than the theory or the fundamental research. So that, I mean, if you are going with the applied sort of research and I mean, in that particular direction, I think you can easily do the publication. At the same time, you can own your intellectual property, or rather you can create the knowledge and you can publish it. I'm not really discouraging people to publish. You have to publish, but there are ways and means of publishing and going for a patent. So there was a very wrong understanding where the people thought if you're going for a patent, you can't publish. If you publish, you can't go for a paper. If you publish, you can't go for a patent. That's very wrong understanding. The guidelines are very well set. And I showed the biggest issue is, I mean, even there are a lot of people in Sri Lanka. I mean, there are people who owns patents, but they are locked in a cupboard. So that will not be converted that to the innovations. The Vincent was very clearly stating the reason. I mean, we being as academics, we always love to be in our own silos, right? We are very comfortable. We don't want to go behind. We don't want to go cross the boundaries to see what the other people are doing. And at the same time, we are reluctant to work together. We don't like to make groups. Even we are to make a group, we always love to work with our own our own cluster. Let's say, being a civil engineer, if I want to have a team member, I always pick a civil engineering person, not even electrical, not even a electronic guy. So the knowledge pool will be limited, and within a limited knowledge pool, it's very difficult to go beyond a fundamental research and go beyond go beyond a publication. So that is a very bad mindset we have, and we always think we are the real big people in the community, especially the engineering or the mindset. We think, okay, we are the bosses in the society. And I mean, when we leave the university gate only, we will realize that, I mean, we are not known to the community. Even sometimes the people who are doing the sociology, the political science, they are much more popular than the engineering people. But still, we believe within our cluster, we are the biggest, we are the best. So we don't want to work with the other disciplines. So I think that is one of the biggest the drawback which the engineering academia. I'm especially focusing the engineering academia, but still I think that is valid for the entire academic community, where we three of us are representing. So that is what, I mean, I believe as the barrier. I mean, you have to set your satisfaction level. That is not really money. That is not the salary. If you are to get a good salary, go to the industry, you will be able to earn millions. But being an academia, you have to understand, okay, what is the definition of an academia and what exactly the community really expecting from you. If you can understand that, I think you are there.
Yeah, I think, I agree with that. Rather than viewing it as forceful obligation to publish, look at it as a privilege to publish, while you can also patent your innovations and disseminate knowledge to the community. That's a lovely takeaway. Prof. Vincent, what are your thoughts on how do you balance between your duties as a university leader and also your research publication?
All right. Thank you, Ashwar. Well, I think all these hash index things comes in start making a stress to all academics. I think in early 2000, when the guy created hash index, published a paper on that. But as I'm speaking of an academic leader point of view or a funder point of view, there is always this filtering system when you submit any application. So the easiest one is always on paper, and hash index will always be used as a reference, although now it is not as used that widely as much anymore. So to answer your question, the short answer, is there a shift of paradigm? Yes, but there are still some maintenance of the old thinking that is the hash index. I think at least for the next 10 years, we can't avoid from hash index. It will still be there because every fund application that you have, there is one section. What is your hash index? So I think we have to acknowledge that. But having said that, should we actually chasing over hash index? That is the answer that I would say no. I believe as you do excellent, as you publish a genuine paper, people will eventually do citation on it because it is useful to the scientific community. People will eventually cite it. And you don't necessarily have a very high citation on a particular paper, although that would be really great. That would make a lot of academics very happy. But it depends on the usefulness of the paper that we publish as well, the knowledge. As academy, I think once we graduated PhD, having 1 or 2 years in academy, we get to know the rule of the game, how to get high citation. I think all academics know that. How to do that is not that difficult. But how to make that actual citations a reality that is useful to community, that is the biggest challenge. And that is, I would say, the biggest accomplishment for academy. So I would now speaking from the Australian context that where I have been working, in my majority of my career is on. To become a professor, research is normally the traditional route. But there are also a separate route in teaching. So a lot of new graduate, PhD graduate, they will always ask, how can a purely teaching focused staff, academic staff, become a professor? Because the mindset has always been professor must have good research, millions of funding, extreme hash index. I think that's a standard. But what now this back to my initial point of community engagement. Becoming a very research active academy, you can produce paper to the scientific community and you can translate this into improvements of to the society. So that's one. The same with teaching focused academy as well. What this teaching academy, especially in the field of engineering and science, is that you can always translate it into higher promotion or awareness among younger generation. Right? I think nowadays, if looking at the statistic, the uptaking rate of STEM education is getting lesser. And I think there probably are some reasons to it yet to be investigated. So I'm taking IEEE, for example, they did a lot of such engagement with the younger generation at school levels to actually cultivate more interest and what science and engineering can actually do to the world in terms of improvement and in terms of like their tagline for the humanity. So this is very important when you are very into research, I would say, at least from my observation, when someone is very into active research, the language that they speak are very technical. And to translate this very technical language into a layman term is harder than getting a Nobel Prize for research active academy. But for teaching academy, this is where they comes in. So that people know, I mean, like what Prof. Ranjika has said, engineers are normally not well known because we do all the good work, it translated, the businessman pattern it, make money from it. Where the engineers are, somewhere in a room at the backstage in the very dark alley. That's the reality. But This knowledge, if everything is translated into commercial value, then that means that the initial intention of knowledge creation for the wider good may have been compromised. Not saying that it's not good, but it may have been compromised. So we need all these teaching academics to actually do it to the wider community. And like what Prof. Ranjika said, we are different from school teacher, that is, we are generating knowledge. In fact, the whole career of academic is generating knowledge. So we need to do our due diligence and responsibility upon generating to share it as much as possible with all the community that we have. So yeah, so that I would say is I wouldn't say new paradigm shift, but this is what academics initially supposed to do. But due to some creation of KPIs at university level, at the organizational level, the paradigm has briefly detoured to a very outcome KPI driven, but the intention initially is supposed to be the same. As academy, there is only single agenda. We do good for the community, right? Okay, I think that's all from me at the moment.
Nicely said, Professor. So if we want to have a quick win and play a short-term game, then we chase the KPIs, numbers like the H index. But if you want to make a bigger impact and play a long-term game and look at your career as a whole, look at what you are going to contribute to the community through your work. And there is more than one way of doing it, not just publishing, but also through activities like community engagement via outreach, leadership in many forms, building a solid research group with good core value system and mission of, again, contributing back to the community and so on. So that is probably one of the main takeaways from both of your answers to our audience today. So in previous answers, both of you brought up some very interesting points about working in silos as engineers and also branding. So looking at those, silos have the concept of working in silos, especially engineers and scientists, is more and more coming into limelight, that we should wean away from them and look at collaboration and more than cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary. Now we have a breed of engineers and scientists who are transdisciplinary, with more than with one engineer or a scientist being specialized in more than one discipline. So they can they should use their skill set to cross-collaborate and innovate across domains. And talking about branding, it's Prof. Ranjika rightly mentioned that it is not only for people in marketing domain or other people in the media, but more and more increasingly for one's visibility agnostic of their domain. So these are certain skill sets which I think our early career researchers and graduates should focus on. And we constantly talk about future ready skills, and probably that's one of the main aims of CLAP, to bring this across to and start to develop it at an early phase in their careers. What are other important skill sets which our audience today should look at developing through their education and early career phases?
Well, Aisha, before going to your question, let me add a few points to what Vincent was talking. I mean, he clearly stated, I mean, we'll not be able to change this particular culture for next 10 years. With people will look for H index. But I mean, and at the same time, our focus is the academia. I mean, the early career academias who are basically with us today. Well, I believe, well, I mean, as Vincent stated, I mean, yes, we have to go for H index. You need to improve your indexing. I mean, that's one way of branding yourself. But still, I mean, just because you want to get the citation, go just go and start. I mean, let's say you want to do a publication. Don't always start with the lowest level of confidence. You try the best the journal paper. Maybe that will be the very first day the editor itself will be reject the paper, but still you will be getting the comments. So that comments will help you to think of another paper. I mean, I have that particular experience. I tried some of the papers. I tried with best the publishers, the best journals, and that was within a day that was rejected. And some papers will be reviewed, and with the review comments that will be rejected. So I'm always starting with the best ever possible. and improve, and sometimes with the reviewer comments we improve, and we think of reaching the same publisher, and or else we will go to the second level. We'll say we start with Q1 paper, and the failing that we go to the Q2. Even with the Q1 we get the highest rank journal, the best suitable journal, and we are climbing the step down. But many of our academics, just because they want to increase the indexing, they start with the bottom layer. So because of that, well, you will get the indexing, but you are not really reaching the communities. I'm not really going to say that the best publishers will get the highest reach. That is not my point. But still, I prefer. I mean, if you really want to brand as an academia, you need to start with the best possible level. So that is in your mindset. You're stating the level high. So your expectations, you set your expectation at a higher level. You will not be able to achieve, but still your initial the target was at a higher level. So with that, I really want Sharia to recall the question again. That was an addition to what Vincent was talking.
Certainly, Prasanka. Just to add on to what you said, I think with those reviewer comments from premium journals, another skill set which academics can develop is how to review papers and the thought process of reviewers as well. So that is something which they can develop as well. So the question was about what are the key skill sets which academics can develop, be it professional or technical?
Well, the grouping is I was telling that as the first answer as the first question. But other than that, I think you should be a very good communicator. Well, that is one big mistake where the engineers fails. I mean, we are good in that Vincent was also talking about the same thing. The way of presenting our ideas. It's more academic, more scientific. So the general public, the layman, will not be able to understand. More than that, I think we should be able to understand the audience which we talk, right? If it is very scientific, well, fine. I mean, you go and talk in a scientific way. Let's say you are doing a keynote to the scientific, your own community. You do a very, very scientific speech. But when you go to the public, you should be able to understand the level of understanding. Its communication is not about English, not about the showing the colors. You're not about showing your the knowledge. That, I mean, communication is all about making the listener to understand what you say. But many of our engineers, especially the academic sector, they always believe all the time the audience is their classroom. No, I mean, the classrooms can change. The classroom, well, I mean, you have to talk with your scientific terms. But when it goes to the public, if you really want to pass the knowledge, you need to get their layman language. You need to tap their heart and say what exactly they want to know. It's not what exactly you want to you want to say, but what they want to know. So that is the biggest the missing skill, I believe, as engineers. So one is the grouping. The next is the communication. We are very poor with communicating. This presenting. I mean, we know how to work with numbers. We know how to work with the words. If you ask our students or the academia to do a presentation, they love to have a PowerPoint presentation with some numbers, with some figures, with some words. But when it's really start telling, you don't know how to get your facial expressions right? So you don't know how you need to balance your voice. So that is very much important and interesting for you to be a good presenter. I mean, it's not really going and again I'm bringing the same media story. It's not like a presenter who goes to the media and talk to the public. I mean, you have to imitate. Aishwarya, I personally believe all the time, copying is the best the skill you should have to have as a good academia, right? It's not really copying and pasting. You get this and paste it somewhere. That is not really copying. You copy, you put it here, you add your the personal skills and paste. So that is really lagging with our engineers. I mean, in our undergraduate level or even at our childhood, we say the copying is really bad, and they copy as a wrong step. So the people copy at the exam because they don't know how to copy it really, right? So the copying is another the good talent academia should have. I mean, we copy. Always we copy. Let's say we are going to do a good research. We copy. I mean, we review. We check the other papers what they have done. So they get the knowledge, and you find the niche which the other people has not done. So the copying is, as I told, I think Vincent will move to the list. So I personally believe the grouping, the communication, and copying are the three most interesting and important skill academia should have to become a good leader.
Thanks, Pravanka. Hope everybody's taking notes. Some very, very interesting points which you'll have to relearn and learn again. Prof. Vincent, what would you like to add to this list?
All right. I think in addition to what Prof. Ginga have already mentioned, I'll also give three points. Right. The first one, I think, perseverance. All academic in Malaysia, what you should be thick fast, means you should be persevere enough. Do not afraid of failure. I believe Prof. Ravinka will agree because he is an editor himself. When a paper is submitted and went through the editorial board stage, at the editorial level, at least, they are ready to accept your papers. But you need to give them a very strong reason, which is through the review of the reviewers. Through the reviewers, they triangulate and they rectify that, yes, this is a good paper, then it will be published. Right. The same as funders. When you approach a funder and they agree to meet you, that means that they are ready to give you the money. But because it's still an investment for them, so they got to make sure. So you need to convince them that by giving the money to you, you are able to deliver. So that's number one, perseverance. And a lot of academics that I have met, they're more, I wouldn't say all of them, but majority of them cannot go through this stage. They are not persevere enough. They met rejection from a journal, which is, to be honest, very common. I think every academia would face at least few rejections. There is no one time go through, right? So once they face a rejection, it becomes such a, I think, a ego crush or emotional crush that they cannot continue on, right? The same as funding. You know, be persevere. Once they accepted, take the recommendation as an improvement. Then slowly you grow. And of course, as you proceed, I mean, even as reaching a professor myself nowadays, I would still submit a paper and get rejection. I mean, it is just part of the process. I mean, it's fine. You do not feel that once getting rejected is the end of the world. It's not, right? It's just beginning of a better journey, right? Do not feel afraid of rejection. Right. Second is to be alert. Right. When being alert, I would take part of Prof. Raginka's copying part. Right. So being alert of what the other communities in your area or the other areas are doing. Right. You need to know what everyone is doing. Only then you know where to go. If not, you may be doing a work with another person replicating and that person published earlier, and then you get another ego crush because that person published before you. So now be alert, and it's okay to share your work with many other people. There is no problem with that. We are academics. We are not businessmen, right? We are okay to share. We can share. If we see that another team is working on a similar area, we can collaborate. When more minds combine together, we can produce better things. Okay, be alert. And of course, if looking at the current world directions, at least until 2030, the areas that everyone is all moving towards is the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. So look into the 17 areas. And from there, I believe now a lot of your work will be much more meaningful because you are working on a worldwide agenda. And a lot of companies are in addressing to this agenda as well. So that's number two, be alert to your surrounding, right? And lastly, what I would recommend to all academics, young and all mature, early career, be humble always, right? Even within the field, right? For example, in my field, nonlinear dynamics, perhaps in Sarawak or in Malaysia, I'm one of the good ones. But when you look wider, there are always someone that is better, even your student. In fact, I learned a lot from my student, from my PhD student on some areas rather than I learned from my peers. I still learn from my peers, but some of the great ideas, especially in numerical simulation, I learned it from my student. Right? That guy over a night come up with a brilliant idea. I said, okay, go ahead. You do it yourself because he is now the expert. I don't know that, but always learn, be humble. You can get useful information from a lot of people once you let that ego down. So I think this is some of the academic ego that we have. So I think all 3 points are related to ego for some reason. But anyway, that's the 3 tips that I would give for early career.
Lovely golden words from both of you, and it's been an excellent session discussing and learning from your journey, and I'm sure we can discuss for another few hours and learn so much more, but for the want of time, I guess we will wrap up our discussion for this panel session here today. Once again, I would like to thank both of you for sharing very lovely points and very nicely summarizing them with examples from your journey. And I'm sure all the audience here take away a lot from your journey and your experience. And thanks again to the CLAP team for putting this together and for inviting us. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Richandi, Professor Nandika Halbatra, and Dr. Ashwarya Bangla for that wonderful and informative discussion. Yes, I'm agreed with Dr. Ashwarya. It was very interesting. And also, I hope all our participants have found it more valuable to their lives. Once again, thank you so much for your valuable participation and dedicating your time to be here. We are proud to have you all today. Once KJ Renu, who is the current president and CEO of IEEE, said that IEEE can be your professional home based from the time you first joined as a student member until retirement. We all are volunteers of IEEE, but how can we align our career with IEEE? Now we are going to find the answers to that question. So guys, just a reminder, our program team will put a slider link to the Zoom chat during the session. Go through the link and you can raise your questions there. Our esteemed speakers are here to answer you. So let's move on to our next session, which is about aligning your career with IEEE. For this session, I would like to invite Mr. David Collar, who is the Vice President of IEEE Member and Geographic Activities MGA for the term 2020. And also, he is the Global Business Development Manager for Doble Engineering Company. David has 23 years of experience in the testing of insulting liquids and management of analytical laboratories. He has provided numerous technical presentations and published technical articles within the power industry. So ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome with a virtual round of applause, Mr. David Collar for our next session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the warm invitation. Let me just make sure you can see my screen. Can everything look good?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for the warm introduction. It's my pleasure to speak at the Region 10 Young Professionals Career and Leadership Aid Program. My topic's on aligning your career with IEEE. And again, my name is David Kohler. I'm our current Vice President for Member and Geographical Activities. I want to give some background of myself and tell my story. I live in the Midwest. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm not from academia. I work in industry. I am a chemist. I also have an MBA. I specialize in testing the insulating liquids that are used in electrical equipment, such as transformers and other equipment that is associated with substations. Previously, before becoming elected VP MGA, I was the Region 4 Past Director in 2019 and 2020. As mentioned, my current role is in the sales organization. I'm the Global Business Development Manager for Doble Engineering Company, which is headquartered out of Boston, Massachusetts. Within IEEE, I'm a senior member and a proud member of Eta Kappa Nu. This year at the IEEE Board of Directors levels, I am the co-chair for an IEEE Board of Director ad hoc called the Future of Engagement, where we're focusing on how do we engage with our current members, hopefully future members, and those consumers of our products and services where we don't really understand who they are and how to reach out to them. So we're looking at various ways that we can do a more effective job of engaging our current and future members. From a technical society standpoint, my primary society is the Power and Energy Society, and I also belong to the Dielectrics and Electrical Insulation Society. From my volunteer experience, a lot of you may have more experience than I do with an IEEE. I started out as the Central Indiana Section Treasurer in 2010, and 10 years later, I was elected VP MGA. So I've had quite a lot of experience over the past 10 years, and it's been a very enjoyable and rewarding year thus far being our VP of MGA. Why did I get involved with an IEEE? So I started in this industry in May of 1998, and you can see on the left-hand side of the screen a transformer. The majority of these transformers are filled again with insulating liquids or oils, and we use gas chromatography, various analytical chemistry testing equipment to test the properties of the oil. One of the most important tests we do within the industry is extracting the oil, the gases, excuse me, that are dissolved in the oil, quantifying those, and based on those results, we can tell, is there an active fault or an active issue with electrical equipment? And also, more importantly, is it a thermal or an electrical fault? But one of the primary ways that we interpret the data is through the IEEE Standards Association. And IEEE has numerous interpretation guides. And in my industry, they all start with IEEE C57 dot, and then there'll be 3 or 4 numbers. And that's what our industry globally uses to interpret the results to determine if they're good, normal, acceptable, abnormal, etc. So why partner with IEEE? The major focus this year of our president, President Ray Liu, is IEEE is your professional home, regardless of whether you're a student or you're a retiree within your membership and professional life cycle. Notice at the bottom footer of all of my slides, I have our new tagline. This was approved by the IEEE Board of Directors in June. IEEE is your professional home for engineering and technology community worldwide. Earlier in the panel session that was focused on academia, there was a lot of talk on engineering. We are branching out to make sure, a lot of people think IEEE is only for engineers. It's for technologists also. And we're really branching out and working on that messaging. So within that, we have an IEEE Board of Directors ad hoc, and some of these slides I'm sharing with you, your excellent Region 10 Director Deepak and I would have seen at our board meeting just this Friday. And again, IEEE is your professional home. IEEE, we're a community that inspires and is passionate about the advancement of technology for the benefit of humanity. And it provides those who engage with the opportunity to network, collaborate, publish, as was discussed earlier, and work on technical standards and receive educational activities. Our community is to engage with you to do more based on your specific individual needs. As you experience career changes and move throughout your professional journey, as most of you on this call are starting out in your professional journey, we are here to be your community, to engage with you throughout your lifetime. IEEE is your professional home. As part of this, we're launching a marketing campaign. These are live now on our IEEE website, showing individuals to discover why IEEE is your professional home. We've broken it out again into, no matter where you're at in your journey, that we're your professional home. But we've broken it out into different segments. So first one, which is one of the focuses of today, is for those that are launching their careers, those that are still in school, or those that are young professionals that are just getting started and launching your careers. I'll make sure these slides are provided with those that are running the CLAP program today. But each of these segments has various information listed of how IEEE can partner with you and help you achieve your goals and objectives, depending on where you're at in your career. The next one is those that are working in industry, such as myself. advancing technology. How do you advance within your career, whether it's soft skills, whether it's research, etc. Same thing for academia, which was just on the panel session, supporting research, teaching, publishing. We're here to assist with all of those activities. Maybe you're in public service, deliver technological innovation and enhancements for the benefit of humanity. We're here to be your professional home with that. And if you're past your career and you're in the retirement stage, do you want to give back to the community? Do you want to be a mentor to some of our students and young professionals? Do you want to share your experiences? Do you want to stay connected with an IEEE? We're here to be your professional home. So here's a look at some of our website landing pages and audiences. These are very brand new. Please check out our IEEE website to check these out, where you'll find very beneficial information of how IEEE can help align with where you're at currently in your career journey. We also have flyers that are available. We have various print advertisements. We have website banners if you want to add these to your websites. We have newsletter banners if you want to add some of these to the newsletters that you may periodically send out to your members, along with content that you can add to your newsletters. We had 5 professional videos that were done. These were shown to the board. They were outstanding. Babak Bahiste, he served on the board with myself and Akinora. From Region 1, he did it from academia. We had a gentleman from industry. We had public service, retiree, and then all the way to students and young professionals, which is the focus of this talk. We had Samaya Carr. She used to be from Region 10. Now she resides in Region 8 to do a video. And each of these gave their own personal experience as to what IEEE's meant to them, how IEEE's been engaging to them, how it's inspired them to achieve their successes based on where they're at in their career journey. From a volunteer training standpoint, now talking about MGA, want to remind everybody we have the Center for Leadership Excellence, also known as CLE. And this is for anybody at the region, section, chapter, student branch level. We also have a VOLT program, which I'll talk about later, but within our CLE, we have action plans for 23 specific volunteer roles. If you want to get involved within your student branch, your section, your region at the MGA level, or maybe at the IEEE level. We have over 101 courses that are available. We have over 80 recordings on various topics such as ethics, technology, professional development of soft skills. And a lot of these came out due to sections recommendations. And we even have recordings from the 2020 Virtual Sections Congress, along with the training that was conducted at the Sections Congress in 2021. We just recently off our VOLT program a couple weeks ago. I gave introductory remarks there. I would like to encourage anybody that's interested in specifically training to become a IEEE volunteer. And if you're looking to have a leadership role in the future, our VOLT program was created in 2013. And since that time, we've had over 430 graduates from, I'm proud to announce, from all 10 of our regions globally and from over 150 sections globally. It's a 3-month accelerated leadership training program. Again, it just got started. We also provide mentorship from previous VOLT graduates. You are assigned into teams, and each team will have a certain project that's due. And the current class for 2022 will graduate in December. And the pilot class size in 2013 started out with 21 members. And today, again, we've had over 430 graduates. And over 95% of our VOLT graduate have moved into leadership positions based on our member segmentation survey. And keep in mind at the NNA level with an MGA and IEEE, they do look at to see if you are a graduate of a VOLT program that does provide help as you look to become a member of or a committee chair or run for various other positions within IEEE. And with that, that concludes my presentation today. I very much appreciate the time to present to the group today. And I do not believe there's any time for any questions, but I appreciate the warm hospitality today.
Thank you so much, Mr. David Kohler, for that wonderful and informative session. That is very interesting, and I hope that our participants have found it very valuable for the IEEE volunteering journey. Once again, we thank you so much for your valuable participation and dedicating your time for this. Now it's time for another exciting event. We have created a special video including our organizing committee and all those creative cluster captures. We hope you like it.
Now we have come to the most remarkable and exciting event of Club 2022. We know that everyone was excited to know the winners of Club Challenge. We know how much effort you put into this, and we had 20 classes with more than 400 delegates, but there will be only one winning cluster of Club Challenge 2022. To announce the winners of Club Challenge 22, I would like to invite Dr. Savita Sivakumar, the Chair of IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals.
Thank you so much, Niranjana, and hello, all the participants. So hope all of y'all have enjoyed our CLAP program so far. And now is the time you all were waiting all this while to know the winners. So we have our two winners. So based on all what you have done for the past 2 days, getting to know each other, networking with each other, sharing your knowledge, technical, professional. We have been observing y'all and we have identified 2 winning clusters already. So are you all ready? Can I get some yes? Are you all ready to know? All right, so let's share the slides on the screen, Mitushin. So the runner-up for the CLAP Challenge 2022 is Tech Buddy. Congratulations, Tech Buddy, on your achievement. And there are exciting prizes on your way. I'll announce the prizes later. Before that, let's go to our winners. So the winner of CLAP Challenge 2022 is Ultrabots. Congratulations, Ultrabots. And as a prize of your winning, we'll be giving over IEEE Learning Network course voucher for each and every one of your team members. And more details will be informed to you all later from the organizing committee. And congratulations and well done. We are very much impressed with all your hard work, excitement, enthusiasm. And I hope that you all have got new network, new connections, new friends, and a lot of new learnings. I hope that CLAP 2022 is a memorable one. And thank you for also all the participants for actively participating, and well done. And we hope that next year also we can meet you all and have an exciting CLAP challenge again. Thank you. With that, we have moved to our closing of the CLAP 2022. To deliver the closing remarks, we have our very own director, Deepak Mathur, with us today. Deepak sir, the stage is all yours.
So thank you, Savitya, and thank you, Niranjana. Niranjana, you have done an excellent job. You are coordinating very well. And I would like to thank each one of you in Team CLAP. I feel very happy that Region 10 YP team is very thoughtful and very innovative, and CLAP is a great example that how we can engage members and volunteers in a very effective way. Interaction among students and young professionals have always been our concern, as well as it has always been our focus also. And this program with a common objective of career serves in a very efficient way. Thank you very much, team, once again. And this program is of great help when everything is changing so fast, be it technology, be it business or business processes, or the most important is need of new skill sets. And I'm in full appreciation of Region 10 YP team that they converted challenges and uncertainties arising due to COVID into a great opportunity by designing an interactive virtual career guidance and training sessions. This is because of your great vision, Savitya and team. And I know such ideas have come after lots of brainstorming and lots of efforts. So bringing idea into action is important, and you have done in a very nice way, or let me admit, this is the perfect way of implementing the idea. And Region 10, our philosophy, you know, is always member value creation. And we strongly believe that let our programs create value to address member recruitment and member retention. And that is the only way to bring a sustainable growth. And we have seen that how the Region 10 has grown manyfold, and we are still growing in all directions. CLAP is a great example of that. And it is also in line with our thrust area, where our focus is on member retention and continuation of student to young professionals. And I'm sure that CLAP will help participants in getting new insights about their future career path. And the other important aspect would be to build long-lasting networks. And it would be really very effective if we are able to find mentors, especially for students. And I remember our WI has created a mentor her program where mentee and mentor partnership is doing very well. Can we do that in CLAP also? And I was going through the program of CLAP, and I found all the topics and speakers were very thoughtfully chosen. Topics like resume building, interview training are of great importance, and I'm sure these sessions were recorded. and would also be available for future references. Panel discussion, if I talk about on opportunities and skills needed in industry, is another important session which was planned in CLAP, and there has been lots of development in the working of industries in recent years, and there is a need to be industry ready, both for students and young professionals. And I'm happy to see that the panelists were from diverse background. And the good part is that there was also an academia focused panel discussion. So you brought both the sides, in the industry and academia, and that's what we need in our programs and in activities, especially for students and young professionals. And we need more such sessions, and that is for both for students and young professionals. Please think of organizing panel discussion, bringing diverse group of experts more frequently, and probably that will be again a great program. And I would like to mention that Region 10 has started a technical talk series named as R10 Talk. I was just talking before this panel with our panelists, and there have been very good talks by experts. And I will encourage you all to attend those talks, and that is advertised on our social media. And these will also be very helpful to keep yourself current with new technology, new skills, and latest industry trends. The another aspect which I always stress upon with my volunteers and members, that our volunteers should also develop themselves as a speaker and learn how to give presentation, practice communication skills. And I'm happy to see that many of our volunteers in Region 10 come forward and deliver talk in various events. And let us encourage more members and volunteers to come forward. CLAP will also be a good platform to invite our YP members to share their experiences from industry. And that is to help others to understand from the perspective of new job, from the perspective of a new job requirement, and also from the perspective of industry culture and challenges faced by them and how they could overcome. That is very important. If our young professionals who have recently joined job and if they come and take part in such sessions, I think that is going to be great help to the newcomers. So there was also a session on leadership training. And I came to know that it was a very interactive session and the participants were engaged with these questions from the speakers. And having such session is extremely important, but all of us should be reminded about the leadership opportunities provided by IEEE. And that comes from student days if you volunteer. And I request participants to take these opportunities and become an IEEE volunteer and look for leadership opportunities in your sector, if you're a student or young professional or professional. So we just heard our VP MGA, David Kohler, on aligning your career with IEEE. And in fact, you all are very fortunate. He shared the latest thoughts of IEEE with you all. And I'm sure you will be going and looking at the websites, and you will come to know that what new is with IEEE, and that is in line with the IEEE is our professional home. And you will agree with that, and you will also find your story and share this story with others in the coming programs. So I would like to conclude, Savitya, and expressing my great satisfaction with Region 10 Young Professionals. You all are doing wonderful work, which is innovative and adding value. That is very important. And I always remind that IEEE provides you many opportunities, but also provides you an opportunity to create opportunity. And CLAP is such an opportunity created by Region 10 YP team. So I congratulate you all for successfully organizing CLAP in the second year, and hope this program will continue in coming years too. We should have a strong feedback mechanism to provide continuous improvement in the structure of CLAP and bring more new volunteers, which I was also discussing with you. So thank you again, Savitya, for your leadership and bringing together other volunteers, forming a very productive team. And you know that team and collaboration are the key to success, and that's what we do in Region 10. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deepak sir, for the wise words. And this is our last event for the year, and it's indeed a pleasure to conclude it under your wise words. So this is a small token of appreciation for us towards you. And the thank you doesn't stop from here, Deepak sir, as you know that this is our last event under your leadership as the Region 10 Director and Region 10 YP. You have been a great support to us, and we would like to use this opportunity to thank you for the last 2 years for your leadership, and to present to you a small tribute from Region 10 YP. Over to you, Mitushin.
Thank you, Savitya and team. Thank you very much. If there was any success, it was all because of you people. I always had an amazing team, very dedicated volunteers, very talented volunteers, very committed volunteers, and they really had a vision, and they had ideas, and they converted ideas into action. So thank you very much, team. I enjoyed working with you, and I keep enjoying working with you, and I will always be part of your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, once again for being a great leader and for guiding us throughout the past 2 years. With that, participants, comes to our end of clap. And before we really end, I should not forget to thank my team. For the past 9 years, we worked together to build this program clap for 2022. And with all ups and downs, here we are today ending a 2 days of a great program, and I hope you all enjoyed. Please give me a few minutes to thank my team. Right, so I'm finding my slides. Okay, I hope you can see me. Right, so starting with the advisory committee, thank you, Deepak sir and Prof. Preeti. Hussein, Manodia, Jacob, thank you so much for your leadership, and of course the R10 SAC team for the collaborations and support they have given, and to the entire organizing committee, Said, Kathleen, Rahat, Alan, Maisha, Timet, Ming, Zubair, Ayn, Heshan, Anup, Alina, Niranjana, Sinet, Abdul, Mitushan, Hisham, and Mija. Thank you so much for making CLAP a great success. And of course, not to forget our Region 10 YP team for being also a great support to CLAP, and also a great support to me as well for the entire year of coordinating our YP program. So big thanks to you all as well. And thank you so much, participants, for your excited enthusiasm with CLAP. And thank you so much for your participation. I hope that you all had a good experience with us, and do send us your feedbacks, and we are eagerly waiting to know and to listen to your feedback in order to improve ourselves for next year. And thank you. Thank you. With that, I will forward to the MC to take it over.
Thank you, Dr. Savatya, and also thank you, Deepak sir, for having you here. I'm sure that this day would stay close to your hearts and will be an unforgettable one. So let's add this day to our gallery. Time to take pictures. I request everyone to turn on your cameras and be ready with the virtual backgrounds. I request the technical team to give the camera access to everyone. So
Alina, yeah. So when I work with all of you, I derive great encouragement and great motivation from MGA VP David. David has always been a constant source of encouragement and motivation to me. So thank you, David, that you are witnessing this program of our amazing volunteer at Region 10.
Thank you very much, Deepak. My pleasure.
Yeah, so thank you both Deepak sir and David sir for being here. It is also our pleasure to have you here. So I guess everyone is ready for the photographs.
Maybe give them like 20 seconds.
Yeah. Also the camera access is all right.
If the technical team could just give a count, when taking picture, so everyone is like ready for the picture.
So I'll do the countdown.
Okay, technical team.
Okay, I'll be counting. Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, I have 3 pages, so just be patient. I'm going to the second page. 3, 2, 1. Last page. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Once again, 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think that's all.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot, David, Deepak sir, and all the committees and participants.